get started. So welcome to my webinar. I'm Jana Kramer of US SEO Services, and I've been doing SEO for over a decade. So I do it for local SEO, nationwide SEO, e-commerce, small business, and I do it for a variety of niches. So I've done it for things like business services, like consulting services, coaching, accounting. I've done SEO for attorneys, different variety of attorneys, health industries, dentists, doctors, mental health. I've also done it for a huge variety of construction is a really good niche. I've done it for commercial, residential. There's, painters, paving, air conditioning, construction equipment, flooring. I mean, I could keep on going. I've also done it for people that do appraisals and insurance and different services like that. And also for e-commerce, for like kitchen products, pets, gifts, all kinds of things. And that's just to mention a few. And I've developed this really successful way to get enough clients to make over $30,000 a month. So you can see here, I'm going to share some of my financial statements from PayPal showing the income that I've made, just so you can see. And of course, I blurred out my account information, but you can see it here that just after 3 or 4 months of doing this method, once I got it all going and in good shape, with this method, my income grew to around $8,000 a month. And within about 6 months, it grew to about $15,000 a month. And then about to $20,000 a month. And then I've been making around $30,000 or more a month. So not per year, per month. And I'm going to be honest here, I'm not great at sales. Okay, I'm not an aggressive salesperson like you sometimes have to be in sales. So this is going to work for you, for those of you who are not strong at sales. If you're like, man, I'm not good at sales. I'm not either. And I got this is how I got this method to work. But if you are strong at sales and you're really good at sales, this is going to make it just even better and even easier for you. So I'm going to share how I was able to do this. I'm going to share my method with you. So, all right, give me a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you're excited. Give me a 1 or a heck yeah, because it's awesome and I'm excited to finally share it with you. I've had so many people ask me for this. Yeah, all right, so let's go. Over the years, I've had several other SEO people, some small business owners ask me how I've created such a successful SEO company and is a successful just business in general. And they want to know all the details of how I did it and what do you do each day and how did you grow it and how do you keep it going. And now since I'm in SEO, I've geared the way that I'm teaching it toward SEO people, but really anybody can do this. This can be for any business. So for example, if you're in SEO, just follow along. If you're in a different industry, like, a business consultant of some sort, or if you're in construction or an attorney or an accountant, just any small business, you can follow along and do this for your business as well. So when I talk about, if I say SEO, just replace it in your mind with whatever industry that you're in. So give me a 2 that you got that in the chat. So I know you're following me and this can work for any type of business. Okay, good. I'm getting some 2s. That's great. Okay. So now to be completely transparent, I've used this method on some of you who are here today. So guess what? It works. And how do we know that? Because you're here. So I'm going to open up the chat. I'm going to open up the Q&A. So if you have questions, you can put them in there. And then at the end of the webinar, we can go over those questions that might come up. And, we can have a small Q&A sesh on answering the questions that you have. So let's dig into it. Now, this can work for you whether you've already got a LinkedIn account or whether you're just getting started. So the method that I use is how to get clients on LinkedIn to build your business. So I can show you how to get your account set up. I use Sales Navigator myself. I can show you how to get that open and get that set up as well if you need help with that. But we're going to skip that part for now just to save some time. So after you get your account up and going and get it set up properly, you're going to need to make connections. So you're going to have to determine who your target audience is that you're going to sell to. So these are the people that you need to put that focus on making those connections with. So you can send out some new invites and make new connections each day. And before you know it, you're going to have a really good amount of people that you're connected to that you can work with. If you check out my LinkedIn profile, I have thousands of people that I'm connected with. So it's important to manage your connections and your account every day. If you stay on top of it, it doesn't really take too long to do. I created a to-do list of the things that I need to do each day. Things like send out new invites, accept new connections. I make some posts. And when I make a post, I usually share something encouraging. I usually put on a scripture or something. I'm a Christian and I don't take God out of my business or any part of my life. That's a whole nother webinar. on keeping God in your business because, like that's the way that we provide for our families. He should be involved in that, right? But anyway, moving on. So I do an encouraging post, usually scripture or something, and then I move on to something relevant to my industry of SEO. So whatever industry you're in, just, share some news that's going on. Share something encouraging, or, I usually do just a little picture or a little post of something, something to say, just some news. And I make sure that I go in and also like other people's posts, people that I'm connected with. I'll, thanks for sharing that. I like what they say. I'll do that little thumbs up, things like that. And I also answer any notifications that I'll get, like there's on LinkedIn, makes it super easy to, wish people happy birthday. It's this person's birthday today. So happy birthday, happy work anniversary, happy, promotion, or whatever it is that LinkedIn pops up that you can encourage someone on. And so that just, it's so easy to send people messages that way. And you can personalize it if you want to. I like to do that. It makes it more personal. But, just keeping up with people, and you're just kind of constantly staying in their face without them really realizing it. And once I get to a certain point, then I start reaching out to people that I think might benefit from my services. So give me a 2 if you're following along with me so far, that, you got to, have your LinkedIn account and stay active on it, because a lot of people set it up and walk away and they don't really touch it again, or they have one hoping people are going to find them, but they don't really do anything with it. So, give me that 2 in the chat. Yeah, I'm seeing some 2s. Okay. So yeah, you've got to stay active on it. You've got to stay in front of people's faces. And again, it just takes a few minutes a day. It doesn't take that long to go in and manage it every day. So now we're going to move on to the next step that I do. I have different messages over a period of time, and I call them touches. And a touch is a way of getting in front of someone's face. It warms them up to be able to talk to you and listen to what you have to say. Now, in sales, you may know that you typically have to touch someone, like 7 or 8 times before they're really ready to take an action. But once they're warmed up, they're ready and open to listen to what you have to say. So I do it in a variety of ways. Like I said, making posts, staying in their faces in the feed, and also sending messages to my connections. Now, typically, I end up sending about 5 touches that's going to warm up the person, where they're willing to listen and check out what I have to offer. And I've actually created a course that takes you step by step on exactly how to do this. And as business owners, that's what we do, right? We work on things until we figure out how to make it successful. So I figured out how many times it takes to reach out to someone to get their attention. I figured out how often I should reach out to them, how frequently to do it. If you do it too frequently, they see it as aggressive and it puts them off. If you take too long, then they forget who you are and they turn cold toward you. So I do a touch every 2 weeks, and it's like Goldilocks and the 3 bears, right? It has to be just right. So some of you guys kind of make that mistake there. I've noticed that when I've connected with some of you, you're immediately hitting me up to pitch your services. So in thinking about that, I'm going to go over some of the things that I do on LinkedIn, and I'm also going to go over my touches. So let me pull up my account for you. Okay, so here's my LinkedIn account, and you can see here I have over 11,000 followers. I have a lot of people following, so when I'm posting that stuff in that feed, so many people are seeing it, and they recognize, when I actually get to talk to them, they're like, oh yeah, Jana, okay, yeah, I know who you are. So that really is helpful in the way that I manage this. So first of all, you're gonna have to have Sales Navigator. So like I said, if you need help getting your account set up, just, you can follow along, and I created that course that I'll share with you if you need step-by-step on how to do that. But you need to have Sales Navigator for this, to keep it all organized for your touches and to save your leads. You can really keep it all organized. So for example, there's a difference in your messaging here on your LinkedIn profile, and then there's messaging in Sales Navigator as well. So you need to be checking both of those. But for your leads, just to show you really quickly, you can create leads with different files, and it really helps with your organization. And I use Sales Navigator to target my audience with who I'm going to be reaching out to. So you can see over here, this menu, you can choose to, make this list show you people you're connected to. You can pick different industries and niches that they're in. So you can narrow it down to target your audience. And I think right now it's about $99 a month, and it's definitely worth it. So you can create these different filters. So, for example, on company headcount, you can choose to do, the smaller businesses. With SEO, I think leaning toward the smaller businesses rather than those big corporations is definitely better for SEO. And you can see there's also different things like their seniority level, so you can check on that. I like to get in touch with people that are in charge and can actually make the decisions rather than, like for example, people that are in training wouldn't be able to make a decision if their company could do SEO or not. So not that I don't connect with them. If somebody reaches out and wants to connect, I do. I'll connect with everyone, but the people that I target to get in touch with as far as my SEO services, what I have to offer, I want to make sure that I'm talking to the people that are going to be making those decisions. And then you can choose, your geography. You can choose different states or United States or, kind of narrow it down to whoever you want to provide your services to. And then the industry, you can choose the specific industry that you want to get in touch with. You can see a huge variety of them here. You can narrow that down. You can decide if it's people that you're actually connected with or not. And then, if they've posted on LinkedIn and been active on LinkedIn recently, different things like that. So you can really set a really good filter for who you're going to be connecting with. Now, once I've finished, working through my connections and my leads and working through those type of things and I've connected with people, then I start working on those touches that I was talking about. So I'm going to walk you through some of the touches that I do with people so you can see what it is and how I do it. So touch 1, you simply introduce yourself and thank them for connecting, and that's it. The only kind of marketing that I do on my first touch is in my signature is my website link. But again, that's it. No pitching, no hinting of offering my services, just simply thanks for connecting. I appreciate it. You just introduce yourself and that's it. So now you're going to wait 2 weeks. Again, remember Goldilocks, it's got to be just right. So I had a lot of trial and error with this. If you do a touch sooner than that, people are going to think it's too aggressive. They're going to, disconnect, back off, not listen to what you have to say if you make it too aggressive. Also, on the other hand, again, if you wait too long, they're going to forget about you. They're going to, who are you again? What was that again? I forgot I connected with you. Yeah, that was such a brief encounter. I don't remember you at all. So doing it within that 2 weeks is the sweet spot for what you have to do. So you do your touch 1, just introduce, hey, thanks again for connecting with me. And then you wait 2 weeks. And then you do touch 2. And this is where you're going to offer free information that's very helpful. So what I did is I personally wrote a 2,000-word article about website conversions, and I put it on my website. So when I do this touch 2, I'm sharing this article that I've written. Again, I'm not offering my services or pitching them. I am just passively getting them to my website. So my chances of them exploring what I have to offer are going to go up. And I do that without directly telling them or pitching my services. I'm just simply directing them with free information, free helpful information that can help their business. Now, if you don't have time to write an article, you don't really want to do that, what I did for a while, I found a high authority and informative and valuable article that somebody else wrote, but it went to their website. So you can do that, and it still works because you're sharing helpful, free information about your expertise. But of course, it's better to get them to your website if you can. So now, done touch 2, so now you're going to wait another 2 weeks. Remember, Goldilocks, it has to be just right. So give me a 3 in the chat to confirm that you're getting it. You get the Goldilocks concept. You have to wait that 2 weeks. Too soon is too aggressive. Too long, they forget about you. Right, good. I'm seeing some 3s in the chat. Awesome, so you're getting it. Great. Okay, so touch 3. This is where you're going to offer a small service for free. So I personally offer a free site audit. Now I know you might think, I don't want to give away my services for free, but giving them just a taste of you, a taste of what you can do, really opens them up. And when you're pitching them, oh yeah, I kind of warmed up to that. And I know a lot of us do this. So a lot of us offer these free website audits and give out that information. So I decided to make mine a little bit different. I send them their written site audit, but rather than just sending that, or sometimes I've seen where people write out this big long explanation of what it all means, and people don't really have time to read it or they don't want to read it. So I decided I'm going to make it a little bit different, and I put together a quick video that goes over the audit. And it's helpful because it explains to them what those technical things mean, and it makes it more personal. So touch 3. So now what do we do next? Put it in the chat if you get it. Right. Yep, you got to wait that 2 weeks. Okay, so touch 4. Now, touch 4 is optional. This is where I invite people to do a webinar. I do my webinar with the approach of I teach something highly valuable that people can walk away with and having learned something that can help their business, and they really appreciate that. And they're more accepting of communicating with me and hearing me out, because now they've been invited, they've seen me talking to them, they hear that I know what I'm talking about, and I've given them something that's helpful to them. So they're willing to hear me out. And I have a course that shows you how to do that, how to do webinars with people as well. So, okay, so that is touch 4. So now guess what do? Put it in the chat, put the 2 in the chat. Yep. Okay, all right, we wait 2 weeks. So now we're to the last touch of touch 5. Now this is the direct approach. I don't pitch my services. I don't ask them if they want my SEO services. I invite them to a consultation, and I word it in a very specific way so they don't feel like I'm pitching them. So again, if you want my exact wording and word for word what I use in my touches, I do share that. I put it in the course, so you can have that information if you want to know exactly what I say and how I say it. But if anyone reaches out to you, by the way, in between all of these touches, if you've done touch 1, 2, or 3, and then someone reaches out, or somebody breaks out of it in any way, and they reach out to you in between the touches, that breaks the cycle, and you can just go straight to that after that touch 5 of talking to them about what you can do for them. But now that you've done all these touches, they're now warm leads. You've warmed them up. Now, when I talk to business owners, they'll say things to me about how I approach them so differently. So now they're willing to listen. They tell me things like, well, you don't do it like other SEO companies, and they really appreciate it because I made it more personal for them. I made that time for them, and I put them in a position that makes them feel like they're going to be heard and like I care. Sales is all about emotions. You don't want to have a relationship with someone who's cold to you and gives you the cold shoulder, like doesn't care about how you feel, right? We want relationships that make us feel warm and cozy and have that sense of trust. Emotions play a big factor in sales. So what you need to understand is that these business owners, just in the same way we have, consider their business to be something that they care deeply about. They've worked on it, they've nurtured it, they've cared for it and grew it, and they want to work on making it grow and making it better. They want to increase their income for a variety of reasons, providing for their families, take vacations, save up for retirement. There's a huge ton of motives behind why they want their business to be successful. So allowing us to do SEO for their business, it's a very personal thing for them. So give me a 3 in the chat if you get that. It's about emotions and making it personal for them. Okay, good. You get it. Good. So again, in my course, I go over exactly how I approach it, word for word, what I say to people. And I also go over my pricing because that's very important. That's a big struggle point for SEO people. We tend to think that just because they're a business that they have a ton of money. And the fact is they all have a budget that they decided to spend on advertising and marketing. So by us staying within that budget, it makes SEO doable for them, and it adds up. So let's relate it to keyword research and volume. For SEO, when you rank for a handful of those smaller keywords, it ends up adding to hundreds of searches. So it's the same way. By being willing to set your pricing within the budget that businesses are willing to spend, your clients' payments, it's going to add up to making you that larger income. And I also have a course on pricing and how you should set your pricing to make it successful. And I also have courses on how to retain your clients. So that's also a struggle that I've heard quite a bit from SEO companies is, well, how do you keep your clients for so long? Because I've had clients that have lasted for years and they're still going. So, okay, let me show you real quick how I break things down in my course so you can see. Okay, so I have my LinkedIn, how to get SEO clients on LinkedIn. So I have the full course here. And again, things that I went over just a minute ago, how to set up your account on LinkedIn and Sales Navigator if you need help with that. I go into detail on who to connect with, filtering through like what I select and pick specifically, managing LinkedIn daily, how I do it. The touches specifically, I share what I say exactly. You can copy paste it. Now I suggest making it your own because if we all go on saying the same thing, it's not going to be as effective. So make it your own. And I talk about that in here, how to do that too. I also have, I mentioned pricing, how I do my proposals and follow up with people and things like that. And just to show you around just a little bit since I'm here, this is my courses that I have a variety of courses. I've got some featured ones. I've broken it down into some different things. I have all kinds of different courses that you could check out. if you want to see what it is. And it's just $9.99 for all of them, not just one. It's all of the courses. And then also a suggestion box. If you have any suggestions of things that you want to, well, I want to learn more about this or that, or how you do this or that, you can definitely do that too. So, so that's my course that I have there. But if you follow these steps of what I've shown you with, creating the rapport with people and following these steps, you're going to create a really strong client base, and that can increase your income just drastically. And I also offer private coaching. Since you came to the webinar, I'm offering all of you here, if you're joining the course, I'm giving you one free private coaching session. You can ask me anything you want and I'll help you out with it. And you can also join in on a Facebook community that I created so we can all grow and work with each other, because we all have different strengths and talents when it comes to SEO. Some people focus more on backlinking, some people do social media, some do content writing and blogging. So this will give you a network to be able to put your strengths together and put them to use and be able to encourage each other and give advice and support and things like that. So I'm putting the link in the chat to my course, so you can check that out, and the Facebook group. I would love to get to know all of you better. So who's excited to join in and get started at growing your business? Give me a 1 in the chat if this was helpful to you today. Good. Awesome. Great. I'm so glad to see that. So now let's get to the Q&A. Some of you have put some questions in the chat and in the Q&A here. So we'll spend another 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes, who knows. We'll go through some of the questions. And before I do that, let me just say once again, thank you so much for being here today. I had fun sharing this with you. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And I really, truly hope that this has been helpful to you. So now let's get to some questions.